It all began a few weeks back when I was browsing social media. A friend from high school shared a post about their child graduating college without any debt. They were beaming with pride, explaining how they'd started a savings fund when their kid was young and stuck to it no matter what. It was one of those subtle flex posts, the kind that's meant to impress quietly. But it hit me like a punch to the gut, stirring up feelings I thought I'd long buried. You see, I was supposed to have a fund like that for college too. Growing up, my parents made a big deal about it. Every birthday, every holiday, my mom, Clara, would flash a warm smile and say, "This is for your future, Ethan. One day you'll be grateful," she'd add. As a kid, I trusted her completely. I didn't mind skipping fancy gifts or family trips like my friends enjoyed. "It's for your education," they'd say, and I bought it hook, line, and sinker. But when the time came for me to head to college, that fund vanished. I'll never forget the day I found out. I was 17, sitting at the dining table, flipping through college pamphlets. My mom walked in with her coffee, and I casually asked when we'd sit down to plan which schools we could afford with my savings. She hesitated for a split second, just enough to make me uneasy. Then she gave me a strained smile and said, "We'll discuss it soon." Soon turned out to be the next evening. My parents, Clara and David, called me to the living room. My dad cleared his throat and said, "Ethan, we need to talk about your college plans." His serious tone put me on edge. That's when they dropped the bomb. My college fund was gone. At first, I thought something terrible had happened, like they'd been conned or hit with unexpected expenses. But no, they'd spent it. On my younger brother, Noah. Noah, the prodigy, the golden boy, the one who got all the praise growing up because he was so brilliant, so full of promise. While I was grinding for C's in math, Noah was sweeping science fairs. While I worked odd jobs after school to save for college, Noah was attending coding boot camps and private lessons, all paid for by our parents. Apparently, those programs weren't cheap. And my parents, in their infinite wisdom, decided Noah's future was worth more. My mom even used those exact words, worth more. Like I was a bad bet they'd written off. I was livid, but more than that, I was crushed. I'd trusted them. They'd made me believe they were in my corner, that I wouldn't have to claw my way up. Now they were telling me to chase scholarships and loans because Noah deserved the money more. The worst part? Noah didn't even seem remorseful. He was 16 then, and when I confronted him, he just shrugged and said, "It's not my fault you're not as smart." My heart sank when he said that. It wasn't just cockiness, it was entitlement. He genuinely thought he was more deserving. I ended up putting myself through college with scholarships, loans, and side gigs. I worked at the campus bookstore, bussed tables on weekends, and spent summers doing landscaping with my cousin. It was grueling, but I made it happen. Meanwhile, Noah sailed through high school and started at an elite private university, fully funded by what should have been my savings. For years, I buried my resentment and focused on building my own life. I didn't have the energy to stay angry, but every so often my parents would update me on Noah, how he was changing majors again, how he needed more cash for some new program, how he was finding himself. Each update stung. I kept my distance from my family after that. I'd call for birthdays and send holiday texts, but the warmth we'd had when I was younger was gone. I threw myself into my career, determined to carve out my own. We can't share the full story in this short video. Click the link in the description to watch the complete story. For more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like.